Country boy.
I get up before the rooster, put on my camo, load up my bow and my rifle and stock the ammo. I'm a bullet with the bullet, but I'm lethal with the arrow. Always down for the hunt, dove, turkey, and big bucks. Hit the woods and get fitted up. Mossy oak all across my fit, don't be surprised, we do this too.
I be up before the sun with my 30-06. Hard body on, I ain't worried about the kick. Yeah, we do this too. Country boys.
What's up, guys? Welcome to another edition of the We Do This Too Outdoors podcast. I've got an extra special guest for you guys today. My dog, my homie, my brother in Christ, Mr. Tyler Pence, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, thanks for having me, man. So glad to do this. This is something cool I think you're doing, so I'm happy to be a part of it.
Yes, sir, man. So let's dive into it, man. How did you get into the outdoors, man? Give us the rundown.
Man, as far as like hunting goes, that was kind of just my own taste. My dad worked my whole life growing up, so I didn't really have anybody that was really into hunting. And my dad would take me fishing from time to time, but just, my dad was a logger, so I grew up in the outdoors and in the timber business and always had just a interest in wildlife. So as I got a little older, I think I was like 13 the first time I went hunting. My cousin took me hunting, and very first morning, we've been in the deer stand maybe 2 hours, and I shot a 140 very first morning. So I was hooked, So after that, it just kind of got deeper and deeper, and then some friends around me in school, they were into archery, so I got into archery. Then some friends got me into ducks and turkeys, and it just it snowballs.
Yeah, for sure. That's awesome, man. So your dad got you. Yeah, we kind of got a similar story. So my dad basically got me into hunting. So my dad grew up in a little cotton town outside of Memphis, Tennessee, called Somerville, Tennessee, which is actually where Rolling Thunder game calls are made.
Nice.
But he grew up hunting rabbits, quail, dove, stuff like that. He didn't deer hunt. So basically everything that I learned growing up was rabbit hunting, quail hunting, everything pretty much with a shotgun.
Right.
So as I got older, I think I've told this story before, but I didn't get deer hunting until I was probably maybe a sophomore, maybe a junior in college. Guy named Clay Kirby actually sold me one of his old Bowtechs, and I had to pretty much learn how to do everything deer hunting by myself, and it was a nightmare trying to first get started because I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm scared of heights. I'm not getting to this tree, So yeah, we definitely got similar stories, man. That's awesome. So your dad, you said, was in the lumber business, so that makes a lot of sense why you're in the lumber business now. So tell us a little bit about that.
So I'm fourth generation in the logging business. My dad and I started the sawmill that we have 12 years ago. So we're not, I don't guess you could say that second generation because we kind of started that together. But as far as like actually harvesting timber, I'm fourth generation. And it's just, once that sawdust gets in your blood, you can't get it out. So
right.
It sticks. My girls, I hope they do something else, but if they decide they want to do this, then I'll take them by the hand and teach them how.
That's awesome, man. Heck yeah, man. So have you gotten your girls into it yet, or are they of age just yet for you to comfortably want to take them out there just yet?
We don't, they come to the mill and they ride in the loader and stuff. They don't do like hands-on anything. They're only 2 and 4.
Okay.
But then, in the outdoors, I take them both with me anytime I do anything that they can go.
Right.
So like if we're out putting out trail cams, it makes a slow process, and what I could do in 30 minutes takes me 2.5 hours.
Right.
But they're involved. My oldest absolutely loves the outdoors. She loves squirrel hunting. She loves trapping coons. She loves being in the woods. My youngest is just happy to be on the Ranger. So we'll see. She's only 2. There's still hope, but my oldest definitely very interested in the outdoors.
That's awesome. Yeah, my son just turned 6 here in September or last September last year, and he's ate up with everything outdoors.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, whatever I'm hunting that season, like that's what he's into. Right now, it's
Yeah.
ducks. You
Right.
know, him and his mom, while I was in Ballard County this weekend, went to see that movie Migration. You
Ah.
know, so he's real into it. I try to take him everywhere that I go. If it's not, it's freezing cold. Lately, and I'm like, I don't really want him out there for that. But if I'm changing trail cameras or changing batteries or doing something, out there shooting my bow, he's out there with. He's absolutely ate up with it. So
Yeah.
how'd you?
Ducks is kind of hard for the young ones because the weather's normally so bad. It kind of gets tough to get the kids out in the duck season. But I
I,
took my girls out dove hunting this year when it was warm, and they enjoyed it.
yeah, yeah. I took my son dove hunting a few times, and he had a ball. And
Right.
just waiting to get him out there. Hopefully this year, get him a little more practice with his little 14 that I got him, and maybe get out there in September and knock some down. So, but yeah,
Heck
man.
yeah.
So tell me a little bit about your favorite type of hunting. I know you're like me, and you like to hunt turkey, deer, ducks, everything. So what's your favorite?
Man, that's a age old question. Um, there's nothing quite like getting a big buck inside of 100 feet and putting an arrow through him, but at the same time, talking that boss Tom away from all his hens and bringing him over, is great. And then talking a whole bunch of ducks right down in your lap. I can't. I don't. If I had to pick one, I guess I would have to say I'd probably say turkeys if I had to pick one.
You had to pick one.
But they're so close, man. I mean, archery's fun because it's so long. You get such a season out of it,
Yeah.
and then you can track the bucks and kind of if you can figure out what their daily pattern is, where they're going to sleep, where they're eating, you can pick out a spot where to try to find them. So that's fun too, is figuring out what the deer are doing. And then if you get in on a good duck hunt where you just can't keep your guns loaded and there's ducks one after the other, that's a lot of fun too. So it's hard to pick, I guess. If I had to pick one, I'd probably say turkey, but
Turkey.
it's
Gotcha.
close for me. And I love doves. I like being outside.
Yeah, it's me. I don't think I could pick uh one. Had a terrible 23 deer season. I don't even want to talk about it, but I love turkey hunting. I love deer hunting. I love rabbits, doves. Duck is my new. Dude, when I'm telling you, I've been bit by the bug. When it comes to duck and goose hunting, I have been bit hard.
Oh man, don't listen, it gets you and it gets expensive.
Yes,
See,
absolutely.
so I'm a gadgets guy, right? Like I
You're-
like the new cool. When Mojo first come out, I had Mojos. Now they got these pulsators out. They got automatic jerk rigs. The duck world has all sorts of gadgets and automated stuff that you don't see in the deer woods or in the turkey woods. So man, I'm all about the gadgets and the next coolest thing. So I've got all kinds of random duck stuff. I've got a vortex for the ducks, and it's basically like you put two wind ducks on a pole and it just spins out in the water, and it's wild to watch it. I don't know why in the world I have it or why I would ever use it, but it's cool.
yeah. I'm learning all the new stuff. My first duck hunt was in 2023, January of last year in Ballard
Yeah,
County.
yeah, yeah.
And I got bit by the bug hard. So when it came in, later that year back in, man, I was. So I'm still learning how to call. I'm still learning how to set decoys out. I'm still learning how to do the spread and where the ducks are going to come in. I'm still learning all that, and I'm just like I said, man. I'm if this thing could run all season long, I would hunt ducks all season long. Like that's
Right.
that's that's how much I fell in love with it, man. So how did you get into duck hunting? Was it something that you always been interested in, or you got some buddies that got you into it, or how'd that go?
Well, so we, you know, well as I do, I was in high school when I started hunting, or started hunting hot and heavy. I was in middle school when I started deer hunting, but when I got into high school, I met some friends that did archery, and then archery season is closing to an end. It's getting so cold that you're wearing so many clothes you can't draw your bow back. And me just wanting to be in the outdoors was trying to find something else to hunt. And one of my buddies asked if I had ever hunted ducks, and I said no, but I know a pond that we can go to. So we went, and after that, I was hooked, man. I started with a pair of uninsulated hip waders and froze for a couple years and come up the rough way. You know, in high school, I don't have any extra money. What extra money you have is going towards insurance and going in your gas tank. So I
Right.
found some decoys on Craigslist because Craigslist was still a thing back then.
Yeah.
I found a few decoys local that was really cheap, and I bought them. They didn't have any weights. I took some old chain links that my dad had on his log skidder. They're huge chain links, and made weights for them out of some chain links and some string. And we went in, and, we did it, and it's fun today because I'm fortunate enough to be able to afford some nice things today. But that back then, we were just out hunting. It wasn't about the gadgets. It wasn't about the limits. We were just out hunting, just having a good time. And that, I kind of miss it, but it's a little nostalgic to think about.
Yeah, it's I get a lot of questions about, since I got into duck hunting. I've always got this question, deer hunting, turkey hunting, whatever, but like
Mm-hmm.
everybody's always asking me, what do I need? Like I'm like, well, you don't need much. I said, find you a dozen decoys, get you a shotgun and some steel shot. And the hardest thing around here is finding a place to hunt.
Yep.
So I mean, you don't need much, but I said if you're really going to get serious into it, you're going to need a good pair of waders, and you're going to need to find some places to hunt. But other than
Yeah.
that, I mean, you don't have to spend as much money as some people do. Now, being that said that, I spent a lot more money than I thought I was going to on Sitka gear, and I like being warm, man. So I
Yeah.
kind of take other people's opinions on clothes, and I'm in need of some new waders now, so I'm actually looking for the best deal on those right now. I'm probably gonna wait till the off season to buy those, but yeah, man, like you don't need a lot to get out there in the outdoors, man. Like rabbit hunting. Basically, all you need is a hunting license and a shotgun, and go around some brush and kick some logs up and kick some brush up. A lot of people think that you've got to have all this nice fancy equipment, which is nice to have. It's going to hold up for a long time. But if you're just wanting to get into it to see if you like it, man, you don't have to spend a lot of money.
No, I
So
mean when I was coming up, me and my brother, when we wanted to go rabbit hunting, we just take our blue healers and we'd take their toy and throw their toy in the bush. They'd run in the bush after their toy and flush the rabbit out. All we had was a
it's a good
pellet
idea.
gun. And
Right.
we'd let the rabbit run until it stopped, then sneak up on it and shoot it with a pellet gun. If a dog ain't chasing them, they'll stop pretty quick.
Yeah, for sure.
And that was hunting right there. That wasn't what we
Right.
do today. That was hunting.
Yeah, that's hunting. That's the good old days,
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. Well, speaking of gear, man, what kind of gear do you run in the duck woods? From your shotgun to your setups to your decoys to your waders, run it down for my listeners.
Man, so my camo is pretty much all Sitka. I started trying it out, and the more I tried it, the more I liked it. And from then on out, I run Sitka timber in everything. I duck hunt in the timber, I turkey hunt in it, deer hunt in it. I run it all. Um, my lightweight gear is the Equinox. I like it a lot. It's really lightweight, and it's got the bug net stuff in it, so you don't get ticks and stuff up in your pants. That's pretty awesome for that. The cold gear, I've got the gradient pants and the gradient hoodie, and I think that they have pretty much discontinued the gradient hoodie. I think the Traverse is taking its spot now.
Yeah, I can't find a gradient hoodie anywhere.
No, I think the Traverse, and that's what this is. This is a Traverse jacket. I found this one on sale and bought it just to wear around, and I love it. So I would say it's almost going to be as warm as the gradient is. But I run Sitka. The other morning, I run First Light base layers. I like the First Light base layer a lot better than I like the Sitka, but I don't like the First Light outer layers. They seem to tear easier than Sitka, and I've never had a personal experience with it. But when I was researching the gear, a lot of people that had checked out the First Light or was using it said that their repair policy or their warranty work, it's kind of a headache. As to where Sitka's carefree, you send it back, you send them $30, and they fix whatever you tear up.
Right.
So that's pretty nice for that, especially when you're paying as much as some of these things are costing. I know a new duck oven's like $400, but you think if they're going to fix that jacket for $30 a season, that's not bad. Plus they're warm. Tuesday morning we went hunting. It was too cold for us to work. The logs were actually frozen, so we couldn't work. So I went hunting. And I think it was like 7 degrees outside, and I was hot. I took my duck oven off because I was hot. That's how hot the duck oven is.
Wow.
I've only wore it once, and actually like wore it and kept it on because it's so warm. It's unreal how warm it is. Now I'm used to working in the elements, so I might be a little bit different, but it is crazy warm. I love it. Down to my waders, I've got Rogers and Tidewee. Tidewee boots run a little big. So if you wear a half size or like a wide size, the Tidewee fits great. If you don't, the Tidewee fits a little bit big, and that leaves a little room for air, and a little room for air lets your feet get cold, and they're uncomfortable. So it just depends on how you fit, whether you're going to like Tidewee or not. I like my Rogers better than I like my Tidewee. The Tidewee also has a buckle on your shoulder, as to where the Tidewee has a real small, thin clasp. So when you bring that shotgun to your shoulder, it's sitting flat against that clasp. It's not driving that buckle in your shoulder all morning. So that's nice too, especially in the duck woods.
Yeah, for sure.
Down to my shotgun, I'm shooting a Franke Affinity. I tried a bunch of shotguns before I picked it out, and I run an 870 for years. Probably, I guess, about the time I was 14 till 3 years ago. So for about 16 years, I was running a 870, and then my wife bought me a Franke for my birthday, and I love it, and I've not looked back. I looked into a lot of different auto loaders before that. Some of you guys that are looking for the cheaper loaders, or the cheaper auto loaders, ATA Venza at Academy, $500 out the door. One of the guys that I hunt with, he puts his gun through the same stuff I put mine through, and his function's fine too. So that's the ATA Venza is a good gun. And then, a lot of guys run the Benellis. They just didn't fit right to me. The Franke fits me good, and I like it.
Yeah.
Everything's it's gonna be different. They're all gonna change. It's just what you like personally.
Yeah. I'm with you. I've tried a bunch of different type of shotguns out. You all right there, bud?
Yeah, I had to get a water.
Okay. Let's see. I've tried a Benelli. It didn't fit me right. I tried that Franke that you have. Loved it. But I wanted to try the Rite, and that probably is going to be my gun of choice for a while, just because of the way it shoulders and feels to me. That could be different for everybody else. But my gear that I run, so I got a Rite shotgun and 12 gauge. It's a Masamara and Mossy Oak Bottomland. I am a huge, huge, huge Bottomland man. Yeah. Everything is better in Bottomland to me, but I also have some Sitka stuff that's in Marsh, and I love it. It's warm. My waders right now, I've got some Averys, and I think I'm starting to get a leak in my boot because once I got out of the water in Ballard County Sunday, my right foot was soaking wet. So I'm pretty sure it's leaking somewhere in there. So I don't know. I had to find it or just bear it out till I can get me some new ones. But what kind of shells do you shoot? I forgot to ask you about that. Just whatever's on sale. I shoot whatever I can find that's on sale. I'm gonna be honest with you.
If I'm, like this past weekend when we went to Ballard, there was 12 of us in the blind. So then I just shoot whatever I got. But if it's just me and a couple buddies hunting, where my shots are going to matter, I've been shooting the Boss shells. They're pretty high, but they're typically one shot, one kill. You're not chasing a bunch of cripples around most of the time. If you can put a good shot on one, you'll fold them. I'm really impressed with the pattern. They're copper plated bismuth, so the bismuth weighs a little more and hits a little harder, and then that copper plating is a lot higher lubricity than steel, and it will slide out the barrel and holds a nice tight pattern. I'm really impressed with the boss, but that kind of goes back to what you said about finding your shotgun that fits you. You got to find what choke and shell your shotgun likes. A
Right.
lot of guys want to put, they may be sold on a Jebs tube or a cremator tube, and they don't try a bunch. And that's the ticket. When I got my Franke, I tried 9 different turkey loads, and I tried 3 different turkey chokes to find what I liked. So it's all about finding what your gun likes. Your gun's got a personality too.
Right. Yeah. I've got my gun right now loves the Kicks High Flyer. I had a Carson cremator in there at first, and it shot okay. But I didn't really like the pattern, so I switched up to that Kicks, and I'm loving it. It's dead on right now. So, but yeah, like you said, man, you just got to find what fits you. It's all trial and error. Everybody's got a different opinion. Everybody will probably tell you 15 different things, but you just got to get out there and just try whatever works for you, and stick with it.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, let's switch modes here, man. So I don't know if most of but Tyler he's a big Christian man like myself. He rocks with Jesus. So I was wondering if he would be so kind as to tell us a little bit about his testimony and how he came to the Lord.
Man, I don't I don't really have a cool story. I wasn't addicted to drugs for years or ran from the Lord or nothing. I was raised in church, and I've been around it my whole life and had it my whole life. When He calls, I answer, and He's called us to be fishers of men. So I didn't have no big like life changing or aha moment in my life, but I know what God put in here, and I know what I feel. And I know you do, but for those listening, if you don't feel it, then you'll once you do, you'll understand, because it's a different type of peace that God gives us, and having that just security and knowing where you're going for eternity, and knowing that no matter what happens on this world, everything's going to be all right. I didn't have that big aha moment, but I'm still trying to be a good steward and a good fisher of men, just like He called us to be.
I understand. That's awesome, man. So that's one thing that I love about Tyler, man. Every time that I've ever hunted with him, he always stops and we give thanks to the Creator for letting us be out there, whether we're duck hunting or dove hunting. It might seem crazy to some people, but it makes sense to me. God gave us the outdoors. He allows us to be out there in His creation, to look at His creation, to admire His creation, to see the beauty of His creation. And we're out there as outdoorsmen, trying to harvest an animal that He created.
Right.
So I feel like we owe it to the Lord and the animal to be as thankful as we can, because some people, they want to be out there, they just can't due to health reasons, or just might have been born wheelchair or something like that, where they can't physically get out there. So I always admired that from you. And this weekend, man, I felt bad. I was telling my buddy Lance, like, we got out there and we were setting up decoys and everything, and they started calling, and I'm like, man, I usually like to pray before that, but I was going to stop them from like calling, but the ducks were coming in, and I was just like, should I really stop them right now? But like afterwards, I was like, man, I should have just said a little prayer there to myself, which I did. But I just like to get everybody involved. some people may not like it, but I like to cover everybody around us.
That's right.
Just to be safe. Have a good hunt, even if we don't have a good hunt. Just thank you, Lord, for allowing me to be out here again. You know,
Right. Right.
and that's awesome. And I've always admired that about you, man. From the first time I met you, man, I've always admired that. Because Dalton always told me that you were a good dude, and I need to, get in on some hunts with you. And here we are, man.
Well,
That's
I
awesome.
appreciate it, man. It's always nice to be able to share the outdoors with someone else that believes the way you do. And then, our church, we do a clay pigeon ministry, and you wouldn't think that shooting clay, something so simple, would reach out, but a lot of people have come to that clay pigeon shoot that won't actually step foot in the church house, and we're able to witness to those folks and let them realize that you can still be a Christian and still have fun.
Right.
That's a lot of people like, I'm just not ready to give up my lifestyle yet. But once God gets a hold of you and He straightens you out, you'll be fine with giving up whatever lifestyle it is that you're not willing to give up right now. So
That's for sure.
yeah,
Well, that's kind of so I've kind of got two testimonies. I'm not going to get into the first one. It's kind of long. I'll probably get it on that one day when I'm kind of by myself and kind of tell it. But kind of my second one, we have a church league softball um, league here in Hodgeville. We didn't have it in 23 because we got a grant. The town got a grant to do some stuff on the field, so we didn't get to have it. But the first year I ever played, I was real big into softball. So I played baseball growing up, and as I got older, I couldn't play baseball no more. So this was the closest thing, and
right,
I was just going out there just to play ball. But the more and more, and I kind of got away from God then because my dad passed away at 14, and I wouldn't say I was mad at God, but I was upset.
hmm
Is the easiest way I can put it. I was just more confused than anything, man. Just like you took my dad away at a very crucial time that I needed him,
right,
and so I just kind of got away from the church. I got away from reading the Bible, praying, stuff like that. And the more and more that I would listen to the testimonies and everything, because we always have like a person that comes out and gives either a testimony or what am I trying to say? A devotional. God, I can't
yeah,
talk
yeah,
today. And just the more and more I listen to those, and then shout out to Brandon McDowell, Tyler Hornback, Bobby Dobson, Brandon Clemens, all those guys. They kept on me, and they had a Bible study at Bobby Dobson's house, and they was like, "Courtney, you need to come to this Bible study." And I knew most of the stuff that they were talking about. It'd been a while since I'd heard it, and I started going to church with them. And basically, long story short, ended up becoming a member at South Fork here in Hodgeville. And, it was just getting back in that, I wouldn't say routine, but getting back to giving God thanks and, actually getting in the Bible and reading. I just kind of needed to be around like those people. And I think God put me there for a reason. Like, you're going to go play in the softball league, you're going to move home, take care of your mama, but I'm going to put you around some people that's going to get you back to me.
right.
And that's what I needed. And that's my goal for this whole channel, is to basically mentor the young people, teaching them about the outdoors and whatever, but also, lead them to Jesus,
Right.
because this is not our home. We're just here temporarily, and the Lord tells us to make disciples. So I'm going to do the best that I can to do what God has given me, and whatever way He wants me to go, I'm going to go. Like you said, when the Lord calls, you better answer.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, yeah, man. So I ask all of my guests this question: if you could go anywhere and hunt anything, where are you going, and what are you hunting?
Oh man. Uh, Anywhere and anything, I would want to I would probably want to go to Africa. An African safari has been on my bucket list for a long time, and my taxidermist just went a couple years ago,
That's
and he
awesome.
come back and he's brought back all these pictures and stories, and I'm actually hoping the guy that he went with is here in the United States this week visiting here, so I'm hoping that I can go down there. I've got a widget I wanted to drop off anyway, so I'm hoping I can go and meet that guy and actually make that a dream. But I don't really have a specific animal, just a safari itself. Specific animal, I've been buying points in Wyoming for elk. That's definitely a dream. But I don't want to leave my wife and two young kids for a week or 10 days. So
Yeah,
I'm
for
just buying
sure.
my points until she says, okay, I think I can handle them for 10 days. So,
Yeah,
but
that'd
yeah,
be a little rough on her.
right.
Sure.
But
That's
yeah,
awesome.
definitely. I want to. I guess I'm like all guys into archery. I want to chase all the big game with my bow. But definitely an elk. I think there's just something majestic about that big of an animal that talks back to you and you can answer. And the elk seems the most interesting to me.
Yeah, that elk is definitely at the top of my list,
Hmm.
for sure. And I'd like to take one with a bow myself. And I still have
Right.
not ever heard an elk bugle in person. They said it's TV doesn't do it justice. So
Yeah,
I
it'll
definitely want
rattle
to
your
go to that.
chest.
Yeah. So I think the next time we go to Gatlinburg, I think we're going to drive over. I think there's a place down there. I think it's actually North Carolina that you can go
Hmm.
find them and hopefully hear some bugle.
Right.
But yeah, man. Last question, man, and I'll get you out of here. So is there any advice that you would give, like a young person or an older person, for that matter, that's wanting to get into the outdoors, but they're kind of scared, not knowing where to go? What advice would you give them?
Yeah, I'd be glad to. The main thing is just don't give up on it. It's not easy. You know, One thing today, probably the biggest piece of advice that I could give you today is to get on YouTube and watch some videos about the animal you want to chase. It's not that hard. And we live in the age of information. Everybody I know's got a smartphone except my grandpa who's 80 years old. Actually, I think he might have a smartphone now. So, you know what I mean? Like,
Right.
you
Yeah.
have all the information you could want in the palm of your hand. Just get on old Google and start typing in where can I hunt ducks or where can I hunt deer? And there's going to be a lot of unnecessary stuff on there. There's going to be people that tell you you've got to have name brand gear and you got to have 2 dozen mallard decoys. And I've killed a bunch of mallards over just 6 decoys because that's what I had. Um, Getting on there and depending on what animal you're chasing, if you're chasing a deer, listen to somebody that knows their their stuff about deer and their bedding habits and their eating habits and things of that nature. Or if you're wanting to learn how to hunt turkeys, listen to somebody that knows that, but also listen to the real animal. Listen to videos, understanding what those animal sounds are and what they mean, because these animals they talk to each other and they have different sounds. And if you can learn to incorporate your vocabulary into their vocabulary, it makes a lot better of a hunt. You'll make a lot better of a hunter and a lot more success. Plus, playing with Mother Nature like that is the funnest part of hunting.
Absolutely.
That's my big advice: is just study up on what you're hunting. It's not hard.
Heck yeah, man. Yeah, that's my biggest advice to people, like you said, would, whatever you're wanting to hunt, try to find an older guy or somebody your age that's
Yeah,
been in it for a while, and just ask them questions. You're gonna learn as much information as you can. That's basically what I've been doing right now. Since I'm so new to the waterfowl world, man, I've been getting on YouTube, seeing when a duck's in flight, what sounds he making or she making,
right,
actually. 'Cause the hen, I don't know if most people know this, but the hen is the one that actually quacks. The drake, it whistles.
right.
Um, but you gotta, and then what noise they're making when they're actually on water, what noise they're making, when they're about to land, and it's a lot of different sounds. And the same thing with deer, turkey. I say a turkey call and a duck call are probably the two hardest calls there are to master. And kudos to everybody that can run one. I'm horrible at both, and somehow I managed to kill turkeys and ducks. Somehow, I don't know, but most of that's my friends calling in the duck world. Shout out to you, Tyler.
Hey,
but yeah,
sometimes
man,
it's better to be lucky than good.
I hear you. But yeah, that's some real good advice, man. But so just tell everybody how they can reach you, man. You got any social medias you want to shout out, or anybody you want to shout out?
I really just I got off of just about all social media. If it wasn't for Marketplace, I'd been rid of Facebook a long time ago. I wish we could bring Craigslist back so I get rid of my Facebook, but everybody can find me on Facebook. That's the only social media that I still have.
Gotcha. Sounds good. Well,
Um,
guys,
one other one other piece of advice I want to give, and I it kind of slipped my mind, but the great Fred Bear said this, and you made the mention that some of your stuff's in bottomland and some's in marsh. Your camo pattern doesn't matter. You can hunt deer. Now, I would highly recommend wearing earth tones like this color or browns, but the camo pattern doesn't matter. Fred Bear said it best. The best camouflage pattern on the market is sitting still and shutting up. That's probably the best advice I could give anybody right there is just sit still. You don't realize these animals, their eyes aren't the same as ours. They look for movement. They're not looking for colors. They're not going, oh, that guy's in Sitka Marsh. I ain't going down there, So they see the movement. They don't see the color. So sitting still is a big key element to a young hunter.
Yeah, I always had my buddy always said if turkey could smell as good as they could see, we'd never kill them.
That's right. That's right.
But yeah, man. But yeah, guys, I just want to thank y'all. I want to thank Tyler for taking time out with me to do this podcast. Thank y'all for listening. There's going to be a lot more to come. I'm going to try to put out at least one podcast per week in the 2024. But this is my boy right here, guys. So any questions that you got, send him a message on Facebook, send me a message, whatever questions y'all got, we'll be more than happy to help you out. But I appreciate you, Tyler, man, and I'm gonna get off here, man.
All right, thanks, buddy.
Yes, sir.
See you.